Jai Hind to everyone. Myself Dr. Uma Sharma, Assistant Professor in EC Department of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. The content of this lecture is small signal analysis of 741 IC, which is an operational amplifier IC. This is very important and complex topic of integrated circuit. The understanding of small signal analysis is very important to understand the concept of 741 IC. So, before this lecture, I have already recorded one lecture on the basic operation of 741 IC, its circuit diagram and various stages of internal diagram of 741 IC. We have already covered the DC analysis of 741 IC, where all the current DC current component has been calculated. Previously, we have already covered the small signal basic concepts, and the analysis of input stage has been done in my previous lecture. So, in this lecture, I am going to cover the small signal analysis of second stage basically. So, let us start the lecture. In the input stage of 741 IC, we have seen that input impedance, which is RID, is equals to 2.11 mega ohms, and this 2.11 mega ohms represents the input impedance of complete 741 IC. Basically, we have calculated the input impedance of input stage, and input stage is basically differential stage, differential amplifier stage. So, the input impedance of input stage is equivalent to the input impedance of the 741 IC. So, the one parameter we have already calculated. Ultimately, for the complete IC, we have to calculate gain of the operational amplifier, we have to calculate output impedance of the operational amplifier, but directly we cannot move on the output stage to calculate all these parameters. So, one by one we have to perform small signal analysis on each transistor, so that we can see how signal is processing. So, we have seen that the input is applied at base of Q1 and Q2 in the differential fashion. One terminal is at positive potential, second one is at the negative potential. And we have seen that the current in all four transistors Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4 is same, all are connected in series, and I output has been calculated. So, with the help of I output of input stage, we can calculate the potential at the second stage, because input stage is connected to the second stage. Here I can only draw the block diagram. You can see that this is the differential amplifier or input stage, which is connected with this second stage or gain stage, and this is connected to output stage. So, there are two input plus minus. So, we have seen that Vi is applied at the input of differential amplifier. This circuit has been studied. This circuit we have already studied, and we have calculated input impedance, we have calculated output impedance, and we have already calculated GM1. So, till now we have done the analysis in my previous lecture. Now, we have to do the analysis of this gain stage or second stage or intermediate stage. So, before doing the analysis, the first task is to draw the small signal equivalent circuit. So, here in this figure, you can see that the 741 IC second stage diagram for AC analysis. For performing AC analysis, it is required to remove all the DC sources, either it is voltage source or current source. So, in our circuit, there are few DC voltage sources are used to bias the IC. As you can see from the internal diagram of 741 IC, this terminal is connected to VCC. So, here this is made ground. Similarly, here it is connected with VCC, and these two terminals are connected with VEE, and now for small signal analysis these two nodes are replaced by ground. So this is the AC equivalent circuit. So you can say that this is AC equivalent circuit or small scale small signal analysis circuit. Now the input is applied at the base of Q16 and this node is connected with Q6 transistor of input stage, Q6 transistor of input stage, that is the output transistor of input stage. Here the input impedance can be defined at the base of Q16, so this is represented as Ri2, input impedance of second stage. This Q16 transistor basically is a common collector transistor, connected in common collector configuration, because input is applied at the base of this transistor, whereas output is taken from the emitter node. So if output is taken from the emitter node, it shows that collector terminal is common and hence this transistor is connected in the common collector fashion. And you know the application of common collector. Basically this configuration can be used as buffer or impedance matching. This can be used for impedance matching and can be named as buffer circuit. So we have calculated the impedance of input stage. So it is having very high impedance, like 6.11 mega ohms at the output of input stage. So impedance matching is required, otherwise the output which is produced by the input stage may lost, or some portion may lost due to this impedance or due to this loading effect. So to minimize this loading effect, it is required to add buffer in the cascading of two stages. So wherever some cascading is used in the in any system, definitely it requires to cascade multiple stages using the buffer concept. So buffer is basically used here to matching the impedance. So loading effect can be minimized. So at this terminal, this output emitter, output node which is emitter in case of Q16 is connected at the base of Q17 transistor, and here this Q17 is the output transistor for this stage. So one by one we will calculate for each transistor to calculate this Ri2. Here you can see this transistor Q13B. If you remember, this Q13B is connected with Q12 transistor, and this is forming a current mirror with Q12 transistor, and Q12 and Q13 are making a current mirror circuit. Basically this transistor is used to provide biasing. We have already calculated the biasing current of Q13B, but here the use of this Q13 transistor will be in the calculation of R output of this second stage. So let's see how we can calculate the input impedance of this second stage, because our motive is to perform small signal analysis on this circuit. This is the complete diagram of second stage, which includes only 3 transistors, Q16, 17 and 13B. So now the objective is to calculate input impedance, output impedance and gain of second stage. So one by one we will calculate these parameters. So starting with the input impedance of this second stage. So we can calculate this input impedance which is modeled in this small signal model. So first let's see how this small signal model is prepared. This is the base of Q16 transistor which is connected earlier with the Q6 of collector of Q6. So input is given at base of Q16 and the value of input is represented as Vi2. We have modeled the input of the second stage by Ri2, input impedance. The gain again is represented by Gm, that is transconductance of second stage, and the current can be written as transconductance multiplied by the voltage, input voltage. So that will be the output current. So Gm is basically output current divided by input voltage. So this represents the output current. So that's why it is represented by a current source. And if it is a current source, so definitely the output impedance will be taken in the parallel with this current source. And to model the output terminal of second stage, the resistance RO2 is used. So this is a simple small signal model of second stage of 741 IC. You can compare this model with the input stage. It is exactly similar, only the parameters like Vi2 is replaced by Vi1, Ri2 is replaced by Rid, Gm2 is by Gm1, Ro2 by Ro1. So it is exactly same as the small signal model of input stage. So small signal model, I hope now you are getting how we have designed this model for second stage. Now let's see the calculation of input impedance of this circuit. So the input impedance is to be calculated at this node base. To calculate the resistance at the base, if we know the value of emitter resistance at that particular transistor just by applying resistance reflection rule. I have already discussed about the resistance reflection rule in my earlier video. So by using the resistance reflection rule, we can transfer any impedance of emitter to the base just by multiplying it by beta plus 1. So if we multiply the resistance which is available at the emitter of Q16 by beta plus 1, then definitely we will get the value of Ri2. But we don't know the value of emitter resistance of Q16. So first we have to calculate the value of emitter resistance of Q16. So now let's see how we can calculate it. So at the emitter node, R9 is connected, external resistance. But if we are doing the small signal analysis, that means definitely this emitter node can be modeled with small signal resistance Re16. So definitely there will be a Ra16 resistance. So this Re16, but here at this node another transistor is connected, that is Q17. So that also we have to consider. So the base resistance of this Q17, we want to calculate this emitter impedance of Q16. So first let's calculate the base resistance of this Q17. So again here we can apply resistance reflection rule if we know the value of emitter resistance of Q17. So let's say the value of emitter small signal resistance at the emitter of Q17 is Re17. Then we can easily calculate the value of Re17. So at the emitter node of Q17, I am writing the equation. So the emitter node is modeled with Re17, small signal resistance, and that is in series with R8 that you might have seen in the T model of BJT. So this RE17 in series with R8, because in this diagram we have drawn the AC equivalent circuit. If I draw the small signal model or T model for this circuit, definitely I have to draw this RE17, but we are applying the analysis directly on the circuit. So that's why this is not visible to you, but definitely there will be a presence of RE17 at the emitter node of Q17. So at the emitter node, this is the value of resistor. So if I want to transfer this resistance at the base, which is represented as Ri17, means input impedance of Q17 transistor. So the Ri17 will be, this Ri17 will be multiplied by beta 17 plus 1. So this is the value of Ri17, Re17 plus R8 multiplied by beta 17 plus 1. So we have calculated this value, Ri17. Now you can see this relation between R9 and Ri17. Now we know the value of Ri17, and from this diagram we can see that this R9 is parallelly connected with the Ri17. So definitely now we have solved the circuit up to this point. This is R9 parallel Ri7. Now at the emitter node of Q16, you can see that this Re16 is in series with this complete resistance, this. So that means at the emitter node, the total resistance will be equals to, this is the total resistance at this emitter node, that can be written as Re16 plus R9 parallel with Ri17, and the value of Ri17 is this. So now we know the value of emitter resistance of Q16. So just by applying resistance reflection rule, we can calculate the value of Ri2. So Ri2 will equals to beta 16 plus 1 multiplied by Re16 plus R9 parallel with Ri17. So this is how we can calculate the input impedance of second stage, and in this slide you can see that this is the complete equation for Ri2. I hope now you are able to find how this equation is derived. Beta 16 plus 1 Re16 R9 parallel with beta 17 plus 1 Re17 plus R8. So by putting all these value, because we know the value of beta, Re16, R9, beta 17 from the device parameter of 741 IC, the value of beta n is 200 and value of beta p is 50. So we can use these device parameter in our calculation, and by putting the value of all these parameters, we can calculate the Ri2, which is equals to 4 mega ohms. So we can see that at the output of input stage, the resistance in the range of 6 mega ohms. Now this is reduced to 4 mega ohms. This basically specify that resistance is in decreasing mode, and definitely we want output impedance should be as low as possible for any voltage amplifier. So this is how we can calculate the input impedance. Now come to the transconductance. From the small signal model, the transconductance can be defined as IC17, this current, divided by Vi2, input voltage, because IC17 is nothing but I output. So GM2 can be defined as output current upon input voltage. So now we can calculate this value. So from this circuit diagram, the IC17 can be calculated. So if I multiply by this alpha, then it will become IC17, and here I can write IE17, that will be equals to BV17 divided by RE17 plus R8. From the circuit diagram you can see that. from here. This is the voltage across it. So the total voltage divided by the total resistance. So in case of IE, this can be written as the total voltage between base and emitter VV17 and divided by the resistance at the emitter. So IE can be given as voltage across the emitter node divided by the total emitter resistance, and when we convert it into the IC, so then this alpha will comes into the picture. So this is the value of IC17. Here the BV17 can be calculated using this formula, and this formula you can derive with the by applying the voltage divider, because BV17 is this voltage. We know the value across this resistance and we want to calculate the value at this node. So we can use voltage divider by which we can calculate it. Voltage divider, how you can apply? This voltage multiply by this total resistance divided by this plus this resistance. So here in this equation you can see that VI2 is the voltage. This is multiplied by R9 parallel RI7, and this is divided by this component, and definitely this will be RE16, not RE17. This will be RE16. So this is how we can calculate VV17, and here you can see that this is very small. So if I cancel out these two terms, or if I neglect this RE16, then this will comes equals to VI2. So with the help of this formula, by putting all these value, we can calculate GM2. So here the value of GM2 is 6.5 milliampere per volt. So this is how we can calculate transconductance of second stage. Now come to the output impedance or output resistance of second stage. From the figure you can see that this is the output node, and here you can define the output impedance RO2, and from here you can see that there are two transistors involved in the calculation of output impedance. One is Q13B, which is again connected in common base configuration, and second one is the Q17, this transistor. So both the transistors are connected in the resistance of both the transistors are equivalent to the parallel combination of this. So the RO2 can be written as RO13B parallel with RO17. So to calculate the output impedance of this stage, first we have to calculate the RO13B and RO17. So RO again we can calculate RO13B with the help of the formula which I have discussed in the previous lecture for common base configuration, but you can see that here RO13B is involved in the biasing, and the resistance of RO13B can be replaced by this RE13. So this can be considered as the output impedance of our Q13 transistor, and which can be calculated by the formula VT by I, and that comes 90.9 kilo ohms. To calculate RO17, we can use the formula, that is RO1 plus GM RE. So you can see that at this node RE is R8. For the common emitter configuration, this is the formula for R output. For common emitter configuration, the R output can be used from the formula like RO1 plus GM into RE. So here RE is replaced by R8. So after putting the value of RO, GM and R8, we can calculate the value of RO17. By doing the parallel of these two resistances, RO13B and RO17, we can calculate the total or equivalent output impedance of second stage, and which comes in the range of kilo ohms. So the input impedance is in the range of mega ohms and output impedance is in the range of kilo ohms. So this is the complete analysis of second stage. This is how we can calculate input impedance, output impedance and the gain, which is transconductance. So let's see the output stage. So till now we have studied these transistors. So in output stage, these many transistors are involved. So to calculate the output impedance parameters, we have to consider these circuits. So this is not the AC equivalent circuit. Basically, this is the circuit diagram of output stage. So in upcoming video lectures, we will see how we can analyze this output stage of 741 IC. Basically, the objective to perform the AC analysis on output stage is to find out the output impedance and the maximum range, V output maximum and V minimum maximum. So the objective is to calculate these parameters. So this is all about this lecture. Thank you so much.